Series circuit. So we're going to watch these players go to battle, and Deathrite Shaman's a pretty good way to start things here in our quarterfinals of our
Yeah,
Legacy Open.
this is the thing that Boswell did not want to have to see. Turn 1 Deathrite Shaman is just so frustrating to play against. Gives the opponent so many scary things that they can do on turn 2, particularly Liliana the Veil.
All right, let's see what Mr. Boswell can do on his first turn, typically reserved for cantripping. He's just going to play a Scalding Tarn and pass the turn back.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty good hand there in terms of action. He's got a Brainstorm, I believe, Force of Will, Spell Pierce, Cataxian Probe, Lotus Petal. Don't know if he has any of the combo pieces, though. Yeah, so Steven, I don't believe he has any Stifles in his deck, and Boswell does have his deck list, so he doesn't have to play around Stifle this game. This round, rather.
Here's a Brainstorm. So, couple of cards coming. Abrupt Decay among them. There's also a Spell Piercer and a Wasteland, so he's going to put 2 cards back. Of course, can't make it a perfect Brainstorm with the Verdant Catacombs.
Yeah, so he does have a Spell Pierce and Force of Will as ways that he can fight over Boswell's key combo pieces. But it doesn't have a lot of pressure. It doesn't have a Tarmogoyf, doesn't have a Delver of Secrets currently.
Abrupt Decay pretty bad in this matchup, too.
Yeah, definitely wants to shuffle that one away. And like you said, he does have a Verdant Catacomb, which will allow him to do that. Let's see if he wants to shuffle away something else as well. Looks like he's thinking about getting rid of that Wasteland. Wasteland, not ideal in this matchup. So once in a while, you can kind of hurt them, but generally not very good. So it looks like, yeah, he's going to plan on shuffling those 2 cards away, Abrupt Decay and a Wasteland.
And they have a decent amount of basics. Sometimes you're going to see 2 islands, 1 mountain, 3 islands here for Boswell. So you can definitely search them up. A lot of fetch lands to be able to do that.
Yeah, has a lot of control in terms of what non-basics he exposes. And obviously he has Ancient Tombs and City Traders, but for the most part, I think Steven would rather have a threat. So we might see a Sacrifice here and then a Ponder. If he hits a Delver of Secrets, he's in pretty good shape.
Gonna sacrifice the fetch land. Oh man, gonna go down 19. First blood here. See what land he wants to search up. Looks like he wants it underground, so he at least brought it forward. That's what he's gonna grab.
And if you're Boswell, you know you have that Spell Pierce. Do you try to Spell Pierce the Ponder? It's going to be interesting to see what Boswell's response is going to be here. Maybe he kind of senses that Mann is kind of digging for some kind of power here, some sort of creature. But no, he's going to let it resolve. Going to reserve that Spell Pierce for maybe a counter world down the road.
Tropical Island. Looks like a Daze and a Delver are the cards that Steven's looking at here. So he's found a Clock. He actually still put the Delver in play. If he puts Delver on top, then Daze after it because of Deathrite Shaman.
It's the perfect 3 cards for him. He's able to draw the Delver here. Or no, he's going to pass actually.
Huh.
That's surprising because if you play the Delver, the Daze is on top of your deck, so it flips next turn for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
what it looks like he wants to be able to do is leave up Pierce plus Force.
Yeah, it looks like he's just trying to play cautiously, but you know, and that's fine because now you have Daze, Pierce, and Force of Will at your disposal. But again, that play, it's very cautious considering this is turn 2. And you're really not going to get a better opportunity to play Delver. But again, if you wait 1 turn, then you have more mana up. So I think it's a reasonable play there. And he does have a Brainstorm to kind of set up a Delver flip later on. So Boswell now has perfect information. He knows what he has to play around. He can't be happy about it, though. I mean, just because you know they have a bunch of counterspells doesn't really make you feel very good about it. And again, I'm not sure if he has all the pieces of the combo.
I think he's actually got a little bit of work to do to get there. I think he may have a sneak attack, and I did catch a red card in his hand, so there's a sneak attack there. He just doesn't have a big creature to put in play just yet. So he did see the contents of Mann's hand.
Yeah, the good news for Boswell, he looks like he has an Ancient Tomb along with the Lotus Petal. So if he can keep making his land drops, he should be able to play around cards like Spell Pierce and Daze, and really Force of Will, the only card that he has to worry about, which I believe he has a Force of his own to kind of force back. So Boswell has a little time to maneuver here, and he definitely has the tools to do it, but he's going to need one of the fatties in his deck.
It's time for a Brainstorm here. Going to add 3 cards to hand. Of course, put 2 back. You see the Verdant Catacombs there to make it a perfect Brainstorm, so also a Polluted Delta as well. decisions here for Steven. Again, just doesn't really have a clock online yet. Again, he does have Deathrite Shaman that can drain away and a Delver Secrets in hand. Let's see how he wants to set his deck here, as he does put 2 cards back.
Yeah, and he's not going to put an instant or sorcery back because even though it'll allow him to flip the Delver if he decides to play it, he just wants all those spells in his hand.
Yeah.
And he does have a second copy of Brainstorm in his hand, I believe.
That's a trop. So we'll shuffle and present. And he does have a second copy of Brainstorm. You saw with the Gataxian Probe 2 Brainstorms, Force of Will, a
Spell Pierce
in a daze, yeah.
So pretty good hand here, I mean, and now he's got the clock. But again, it's not the fastest clock in the world, and Boswell definitely has a few turns here to kind of set up that combo, and he's going to have the mana to do it, hopefully. So let's see what Boswell's going to be able to do over the next few turns here. And looks like he's thinking what he wants to do here. Can't imagine he wants to do anything other than pass, keep your mana up. If you want to activate Deathrite Shaman, you can. If you need it for the mana, you can. So can't imagine Steven wants to do anything else this turn.
Actually pretty tough for Boswell, I think. You know, Mann has started to build a wall of counterspells now.
Yeah, he's got a wall of counterspells. He's got a little clock in play. Boswell just has to be content with making land drops. It looks like he drew the Grizzlebrand. So if that red card is sneak attack, then he's got Grizzlebrand sneak attack. And he just needs a little more mana in play to play around the Spell Pierce and the days that he knows about.
Let's see what happens on Mann's turn now. It's possible just played land and pass the turn back. Nothing exciting over there. Here's another Brainstorm. That's the third one of those. Oh, Mann's going to draw a bunch of cards again. Here's Daze. There's a Misty. And this is a Wasteland. That one doesn't matter all that much.
So is this before the Delver activation?
I believe
Delver
that is
trigger,
the case.
Okay, so yeah, he can put a Daze on top and then draw it. So it looks like he can put a Spell Pierce on top, and the Delver should trigger this turn to turn into an insectile operation.
Yep, there we are. There's a Pierce.
All right.
It's always a fun little information game, too, on what card you're supposed to show there, but Mann has already exposed his hand to Boswell quite a bit because of the Gataxian Probe.
Yeah.
So here comes the Delver for 3. Boswell's going to go down to 13. The clock is finally on. There's a Misty. Pass the turn back. Will Mann.
And with Boswell having 2 sacklands in play, he's effectively on a 3-turn clock. I mean, the 3 damage from the Delver that turn, along with a Deathrite Shaman activation, he basically can kill Andrew in 2 more turns. So Andrew has to be cognizant of that, and he looks like he might go for it right now.
Not a bad start.
Oh,
you got
another
Ancient
Lotus
2
Petal.
petals, yeah.
Wow.
Now he's going to fire off a Misty Rainforest, and that Scalding Tarn. So down to 11 goes Boswell. It's time to search up some lands, and it's time to finally make a move here.
Yeah, so let's see here. He can play around Spell Pierce, Daze. He has a Force for the Force, but if Mann does have a second Daze, that might be it. Not sure how many blue cards Mann has left in his hand to pitch, but it's going to be close.
And Boswell's hand's pretty good, so is Mann's.
He's got
Mann spent a lot of time just constructing a wall, and the wall might actually come crumbling down. I think Boswell might be able to work his way through it. So,
yeah, let's see here. Boswell going to cast Sneak Attack this turn. It looks like he's going to go to 9 to do that, though.
Yeah, I don't think there's any better time to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically the game right here. And it looks like Mann only has 4 cards in his hand, so yeah, he can only cast 3 of them, basically.
Yeah, Force Daze Pierce, or Force Daze.
All right, so here we go. Sneak Attack leads the way. Now the decision's on Steven. Which of my counterspells do I want to lead with here?
I guess he could, to be fair, he could go Pierce, make you pay, Daze, make you pay, Daze again. That's an option.
Yeah, I mean,
either way, he's casting 3 of these things.
He's casting 3 of the spells. It's likely going to be Force, Daze, Spell Pierce. I kind of like leading with Daze here, just bouncing that Tropical Island. Make sure that you have mana up. You don't want to play into Daze yourself. So, but you have plenty of mana up, so you should be good. I kind of like leading with Daze.
Probably float a mana in Daze.
Yeah, or you can just bounce the Trop.
Yeah, that's true.
Might go with Spell Pierce. Oh, actually, going with Spell Pierce here would mean that Andrew would have to crack one of his Lotus Petals, so you might want to just do that first since you're going to do it anyway.
Mann is certainly tanking about this. He is not quite sure which way to go. He's going to go force removing a Daze. Hope that this is good enough. We know Boswell can fight back, and he's certainly about to. He's got a Force of Will.
It looks like he has a Brainstorm to pitch to, so he'll still have that Spell Pierce in his hand.
Could he go with the Pierce? Actually,
no, he's going to pitch.
I thought he was going to go with the Brainstorm, too.
All right. So I think Steven can kind of see the writing on the walls now. He's only got a Spell Pierce and a Daze left in his hand, and Boswell has 3 mana. Frankly, you might as well just make him use it, right? That way he can't activate Sneak Attack this turn.
Absolutely.
Maybe if you draw a Liliana, you can make him discard, or him to Torque.
Him would be the best draw.
Him would be the best draw. So yeah, you definitely make him use it so he can't activate Sneak Attack this turn.
Yep. Him would certainly be the best draw right now. Liliana is not going to work, obviously, because the other card in Boswell's hand, which is the Brainstorm.
Yeah, so he's got 2 cards. Him to Torque would be the best draw here for Steven.
And of course, Boswell being tapped out as well. So, and Steven can shuffle his deck with the Misty Rainforest. There's the Underground State that he brought back from the Daze. All Boswell can do is pass the turn back and hope he gets another turn or doesn't have his hand assaulted. Of course, Mann's going to activate this Deathrite Shaman, remove one of those instants and or sorceries, and deal 2. So, Boswell goes down to 6.
And that's key, too, because Boswell can't draw cards now prior to the Sneak Attack. Ideally, you like to get a Grizzlebrand to play and try to draw into an Emrakul and just kill him in 1 turn. That no longer an option for Boswell because he is at 6, and he's going to be even lower. So I'm not sure what Steven drew for this turn. Yeah, he doesn't have Maelstrom Pulse in his list, so no way to deal with that Sneak Attack once it's in play. Yeah, this is a very, very close game, because even if the Grizzlebrand comes into play, because Boswell's going to go down to 1 this turn, there's really no guarantee that he's going to be able to win.
A land, not a him.
So let's see what Steven can do here. He's going to drop Boswell down to 3.
This is cross your fingers territory to me.
Yeah, very, very tight game here. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that getting to hit with a Grizzlebrand is close, but that's exactly what it is. But Boswell gets a little lucky there with the Ponder. Maybe that can help him find another card.
Yeah, he just needs I think he needs Emrakul. Yeah, now Emrakul's obviously not going to kill him, but he does have the combination. But I think that he's certainly looking for Emrakul, and he shuffles very, very quickly.
He does have a Brainstorm, but again, obviously, a Ponder, definitely a better search there because you basically get to look at 4 cards.
Yep.
So he's going to shuffle and present. He's going to try to find that Emrakul. If he doesn't find it, I think he can't afford to cast Brainstorm right now anyway.
City of Traders.
Yeah, so looks like we're just going to get a Grizzlebrand.
I'm generally okay with him casting Brainstorm right now.
Yeah, I guess you just want Emrakul to annihilate.
Yeah. 2, 3.
Wow. So it looks like he has a second copy of Grizzlebrand. So that's good. That's actually good. He can hide the second Grizzlebrand on top of his deck.
Yep.
And then just pass back. He'll go up to 10. He'll drop Steven down to 9. And then he could draw some cards next turn. Yeah, you definitely want to play around him to Torque, so you want to make sure that Grizzlebrand's on top of your library.
Let's put 2 cards back.
Yeah, you also have the option of activating a Sneak Attack to put a Grizzlebrand into play to block a Delver's Secrets. Unfortunately, that you can't do that until next turn.
Yeah, and the problem with that is, Deathrite Shaman on your turn and Deathrite Shaman right away.
Yeah, you need to gain the 7 life now. Yeah. So if he's able to draw the Grizzlebrand next turn, he has that option to try to draw more cards into that Emrakul.
So Mann's going to take 7. He's going to go down to 9. Boswell's going to gain 7. He's going up to 10.
Yeah, so an end of turn Deathrite Shaman activation means he goes to 8, and then a swing brings him to 5. So he's effectively at 3 if Steven activates Deathrite again. So same position basically where he can't activate Grizzlebrand prior to the attack.
So Mann has been hit by Grizzlebrand, but oddly enough, it's not that great for once. Just a little bit of life gain, deal some damage.
Yes, Steven's tight spot here. Not sure what the other cards that Boswell had from that Brainstorm We know one of them's a Grizzlebrand, but
Attack for 3 is going to put Boswell down to 5. There's a Wasteland. It's going to take care of Volcanic. That's actually pretty important, I think.
yeah, very, very, very important there.
See what Boswell's draw is. Yeah, he left Crystal Brand on top. He's going to try to cast a Brainstorm again. He's going to try to hit. I think it's correct to try to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
you risk the chance of Brainstorm locking yourself or whatever, but that's life. 2, 3.
Is it there? Oh, it looks like it might have been.
Maybe? I'm not quite sure. Going to put Sneak Attack and Mystery card back.
Is the Spaghetti Monster on top?
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
it is.
And he's going to attack Annihilator and get the job done.
Wow.
Andrew Boswell is going to win game number 1 here over Stephen Mann. One heck of a game between those two.
Sigh of relief. Whew, as that Emrakul. And, you know, Boswell's got to be feeling good. That's the game he needed to win. You know,
Yeah.
he needed to get that first win. He needed to break serve so that his Blood Moons can kind of really have an impact in either games 2 or 3. And that's sort of, he's in pretty good shape now. Obviously, Mann's sideboard is kind of what helped him win in the Swiss.
Yeah.
So, you know, by no means is Boswell out of the woods just yet, but he's got to be feeling pretty good.
We're going to take a look at those sideboards in just a minute and go back to that match. We're going to do trivia really quickly. 3 months. I'll let you explain the rules. I've got the first question.
Okay, so we do this every time in the top 8. Cedric's gonna give you a question, and you tweet the answer at SCG Live, hashtag SCG Premium, and you get a chance to win 3 months of Star City Games Premium.
Pretty simple. I guess maybe not that simple. It depends on if you follow Magic quite a bit. Grand Prix Orlando, of course, is a tournament we're going to be running here in October. Really looking forward to doing that with Matthias Hunt, Patrick Sullivan, the rest of the SCG Live crew. Should be an absolute blast down there. There was a previous Grand Prix Orlando, and the winner of that tournament was Conley Woods. Good all-around guy. Big Conley fan with the brew. Who did he beat in the finals of that tournament is the question.
Yes. Who did he beat?
Who did he beat in the finals of that tournament?
Perhaps a Hall of Famer.
Could be the current Pro Tour champion.
Could be a Pro Tour champion.
Could be anybody. There's a lot of people in that tournament. He could have been anyone in the finals.
He's very innovative.
He has been known to innovate, and if you can name that person, make sure you hashtag the answer of hashtag SCG Premium. Make sure you're following at SCG Live, and we will announce the winner at the conclusion of a rather entertaining so far quarterfinal round. That was a really
Very
good game.
exciting, yeah,
That was a
it was
really,
very
really good
exciting.
game between Mann and Boswell. We're going to take a look at our sideboards right now. We will turn our attention to Stephen Mann's sideboard: 2 Graph Digger's Cage, a Null Rod, a Disfigure, a Dismember, 2 Golgari Charm, 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Submerge, 2 Vendilion Clicks, actually, a Life from Loan, and a Thoughtseize. What do you like there, my friend?
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar to what we saw in the Swiss. Vendilion Click, Spell Pierce, Thoughtseize. Beyond that, there's really nothing else that he would want in this particular matchup. 5 cards in. Again, he doesn't have that many cards he wants to board out other than the Abrupt Decays. Obviously, you don't want that card in this particular matchup. And Jace the Mind Sculptor, probably not amazing in this matchup either, because you're never really in a position to kind of tap out against this deck, especially the kind of way that these games have been playing out. So I'd imagine he probably boards out Abrupt Decay and Jace for the 5 cards: Spell Pierce, Vendilion Click, and Thoughtseize. Vendilion Click being really, really good for him in the Swiss. And on Boswell's side, I mean, Sneak and Show, we kind of talked about it earlier with Shroud, but, you know, Blood Moon is just dominating in this matchup. Bug Delver has no basic lands, and if it can't get a Deathrite Shaman into play, it's basically locked out of the game. They can't do anything. And Boswell did draw the Blood Moon early in the Swiss. Unfortunately, he was never able to get it to resolve,
Yeah, that was the
or
match
it got
that was the
clicked
match I
away.
had off.
Yeah, you had that match off, so you didn't get to see it, but it was another tight one. It was the same situation where Boswell won the first game, but Steven's sideboard was able to win games 2 and 3, really on the strength of Vendilion Click, along with just, you know, all those Spell Pierces and, you know, Daze Force of Will. He just has so much permission after sideboard, and Vendilion Click really just very, very effective in this matchup because it allows you to put a threat into play, see their hand, and all at the end of at the end of their turn, so you don't have to tap out to do it. Liliana the Veil, obviously, another card that was really important for him in the Swiss. So, but Boswell, you know, if he's able to get that Blood Moon into play, he kind of plays a different game. You know, he doesn't have to fight. He doesn't have to use that many cards to kind of get the Blood Moon to play. It's not like a 2-card combo. It's literally, if I cast this card, I'm probably going to win. So Blood Moon's definitely coming in. I actually don't mind the Pyroclasm either, just because you can kill Delver Seekers and Deathrite Shaman. And obviously, if your plan is to Blood Moon him, killing a Deathrite Shaman is very important. So if I was Andrew, I'd bring in the Pyroclasm as well. And we know he brought in some copies of Through the Breach as well. So we'll see if he does the same thing here.
Both players taking pretty healthy amount of time sideboarding. I mean, again, they've battled each other before, but now they're working with perfect information as far as sideboards are concerned, so things will probably change a little bit here on how they do want to go with the sideboarding. Quick update for you guys here. Dustin Childs does defeat Dylan Donegan in game number 1, punishing John up a game over Rug Delver. Our other matches here, Jesse Crowley playing Rug Delver against Spencer Argina playing Esper Deathblade. We don't have anything there for you guys. And then Josh Rhodes against Lloyd Kurth, Rug Delver versus Charles Bug. Nothing as far as updates are concerned there just yet, but when we do have those, we'll of course bring them to you. I actually am a little bit interested to see how many, in an open series weekend, how many people have gone back-to-back top 8s in the same weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a record. I mean, we have 3.
I mean, I can't recall a time where there were 3 people who've made back-to-back top 8s. It's pretty impressive. And I knew about Andrew, I knew about Dylan, but Kurt also. I mean, it's pretty impressive, the 3 of them. And I can't think of the last time it happened.
Yeah, Lloyd just slipped through. I mean, that's 3 people back-to-back top 8s here. See if one of them can actually. And oddly enough, none of them won the tournament.
None of them won.
They're not in back-to-back qualification realm, which is a little bit surprising. But
We had a finalist, a semifinalist, and a quarterfinalist, I believe. Yeah.
Bosby Donegan, then Boswell made it to the finals, and Lloyd Kurth actually made it to the semis, I believe, with Black-White.
Yeah.
Yeah, before losing to our
He lost,
champion, Danny Jessup.
One interesting thing to note, rather, that Schrapp brought up during the Swiss is that there was a situation where Steven was kind of ticking up his Liliana the Veil, and it was kind of doing work on Andrew. And Schrapp mentioned if Andrew did bring out the one Echoing Truth that he has in his sideboard, it'd be really, really good against Liliana. Because you come to a point in the game where both players have basically one card in their hand. Steven usually just played a land and uptick Liliana. If you can bounce Liliana in response to the activation, that's a way for you to get rid of Liliana. Boswell really doesn't have any other ways to deal with the Planeswalker. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not, given how things went down in the Swiss, does he bring in that one copy of Echoing Truth?
Both players are going to take a look after a fascinating game 1. We're going to see game number 2 here in action. Stephen Mann's going to be on the play. He's giving it a long look. Again, Legacy Open champion earlier this year. A lot of top 8s for him as well. Number 12 on our Season 3 leaderboard. Andrew Boswell losing in the finals earlier this morning. He actually even said, he was just sitting down in the player profiles, feeling that, he said, I'm tired. I'm tired, man. He's been playing Magic all day.
Playing Magic all day. Played it all day yesterday. Woke up today around 7 o'clock in the morning, had to play at 8 a.m., and now he's here. It's like 10 o'clock, and he's still battling.
Yeah, he's still going. Steven gonna just play an Underground Sea and pass the turn back. No Death Right Shaman here. There's the Blood Moon. You see it right there in Boswell's hand. He's just gonna play an island and pass the turn back. If he can get that to resolve on an empty board, he wins the game.
Yeah, and this is a pretty aggressive keep here for Boswell. I think he doesn't. I think you could tell he was a little unsure of himself when he said keep. I think his main concern is he doesn't have any red mana, and his second land is, I believe, a City of Traders. So it's a pretty risky keep against a deck with 4 wastelands. If he's not able to draw, and he doesn't even have a Ponder or Brainstorm to help find land. So if he doesn't find a red source or even a second land on turn 2, he's going to have to play that City of Traders. And I believe Steven does have a wasteland. So this could be a really tough situation for Boswell. He does have a lot of permission. He's got Swan Song, he's got Force of Will. So if his plan is to just try to force through a Blood Moon, it's a reasonable plan. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have a red source right now.
Not yet.
And it's very risky keep here.
Time to ponder from Dillion Click. You see a value. Looks like there's a wasteland in the middle. Now Man's going to consult the grip. There's the him. You see a Brainstorm. There's a Pierce over there. You mentioned the wasteland.
Yeah, Man's got a really good hand.
Pretty quick keep. Yeah, Steven's hand is actually quite good. This Blood Moon plan might go up in smoke. Boswell's going to draw a card. Let's see what he found. City of Traders. Yikes.
Wow. So, again, at least it's another land. So if Steven does lead with the wasteland here, it's not the worst thing. And you have to imagine Steven will do that because if Boswell played City of Traders on turn 2, it means that's his only other land likely.
That's the dead giveaway.
That's the giveaway. So Steven now, I wouldn't be surprised if Steven actually went wasteland your City of Traders, him to Torek you. He could have actually gone turn 2 him to Torek, I believe, but he wanted to keep up Spell Pierce mana. But now he's probably not too concerned about turn 2 show and tell anymore.
The way that he's played this game, in the previous game, he's been very conservative in his approach.
Yeah.
Always leaving mana available to counterspell something. Look back to that last game where we were like, man, he's not going to play his Delver Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I want to leave up Spell Pierce plus Daze plus Force of Will. I was like, all right. Now, imagine in that game, had he played Delver Secrets a turn earlier, maybe he wins.
I
three more points of damage.
I think he does win, yeah. Because it definitely flips next turn because he sets it up that way. So let's see if he decides to be cautious again. I mean, again, the fact that Andrew played a City Traders, it means either that's his only other land or he's got 2 City Traders. I mean, in all likelihood, Stevens probably thinks it's just another land. But it looks like he's just going to pass here, knowing that if Andrew does play another land, it's going to have to be it's going to have to kill the City Traders anyway. Fortunately for Boswell, though, he did draw Volcanic Island, so if he wants to, he could generate 2 mana, play the Volcanic Island, and try to get that Blood Moon to play now.
That's a battle. They're going for it.
Steven does have Spell Pierce and Force of Will, and he will have to fight over this one. If there's something you fight over, it's certainly Blood Moon.
Oh, it's a counter war. It's going to happen right now. The thing I like about Blood Moon in this spot, too, is, you could make an argument of Boswell's maybe wait or something like that, but the thing that makes this great is it forces Mann to have, the answers right now, and if he doesn't have them, he loses, and if he does, the game just continues.
Yeah.
That's the thing I like about the Sneak and Show deck a lot, is, they cast Show and Tell, and someone counters it, it's like, okay, that's fine. You got out of, that problem.
Yeah.
There are more problems to come.
And it's one card, and especially if you use a Force of Will, I'm making you 2 for 1 yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing I've actually always liked about Sneak Attack. Like, take a deck like Storm. If you stop them on their big turn, you win.
Yeah.
That's it. But if you stop the Sneak Attack, it's like, okay, well, I have a bunch of redraws and just Sneak Attack or Show and Tell. That's the same situation here with Blood Moon. Blood Moon is just another added win condition in the matchup, especially on a stable board, which is where we are at right now.
Yeah, you basically sacrifice some speed for, a little bit more resilience to hate, as well as some, permission. You're basically a little bit more robust, but you still have the potential for like a turn 2 unbeatable draw.
Yep. So now Stephen Mann is being put to the test. It's time to see if he can win this war.
And, the crazy thing here is because he's a Vendilion Click, he could try to fight over the Blood Moon, but he could also just try to get a Vendilion Click into play and win with that. Because Boswell's left with just 2 mana. But I think he's gonna obviously force first.
I think that's a really good place to start.
But the crazy thing is, I think he has, even if he can't win this war, his backup plan is get a click into play and try to win with a click.
So Force of Moving Swan Song here from Boswell. You see the Vendilion Click from Mann. Is he going to run that out there? Now he's got a Spell Pierce. I think he's got another Force. He's got another Force in his hand too.
Yeah. Is he going to pitch Spell Pierce to cast his Force? Oh no. So he's going to cast Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce.
And let's see here. We're going to try to see Boswell. Boswell's going to cast Swan Song.
That counters that. Oh man, we'll get a Derek Sheets token in just a moment. So there that is. We don't get to see Derek on the camera too much. But.
So if you're Mann, I think you probably just pitch your last card here, Force of Will it, and then you have the Hymnatoric. So basically, the game state is, I have a 2/2 in play, I have 2 lands, I'm going to wasteland you, so you're going to have no cards in your hand and just an island.
Yep.
That's basically what's going to happen.
Yep. And if you peel me out from there, well done.
Well done, yeah. So we're basically both going to be in top deck mode, except I have 2 lands to your 1, and I'm going to have a 2/2 attacking you.
Yeah. That's what I think the situation we're in here is to him. So Boswell's going to get to keep one of these cards. So a little randomization here.
So that's the card he keeps.
Yep.
Let's see what he discards. Are they both Emrakul's? And they are.
Yeah, they are. So shuffle them back in.
So
okay.
At least he gets to keep the City of Traders in his hand.
Yeah. And what's just sick is he has City of Traders, so he could just go, draw Show and Tell, draw Big Idiot, and then and that's literally all it takes.
That's magic.
Yeah. With this deck, it is. With this deck, it is.
So if you're Steven, you wasteland the Volcanic Island in all likelihood. And yep, and I don't know if he drew. Okay, it looks like he didn't draw a land. So just gonna pass the turn here. Let's see what Boswell draws. It looks like a Volcanic Island, so good draw there.
Yeah.
Now if he top decks a Sneak Attack, he can cast it.
Yes. Man's got to give the beatdowns. We don't have a great look at his hand and see what he's been drawing.
Look at that. Derek Sheets token's doing a lot of work.
Ooh,
oh, looks like he drew another wasteland.
I think you have to fire.
Yeah, you got to go for it right away.
And now there's, okay.
All right.
That's right, Shaman.
So good cards there for Steven.
Boswell draws a brainstorm. He wants to, but a little bit of patience.
I don't know. I kind of like making your mana drops. You know.
I like taking your time a little bit here. You're not underneath that much pressure. You're certainly underneath some. Oh, Emrakul. Oof.
You can't. I don't think you can afford to pass it. You have to start making your mana drops.
I think you brainstorm here.
Yeah, I like brainstorming here.
I don't like playing the land there. I like playing brainstorm first. What I think Boswell may do is brainstorm end of turn and hope to hit a show and tell. But I like starting off with a brainstorm there and working with some better information on what land to play.
Yeah,
Boswell's going to go down to 11.
Steven really wants Liliana here.
That's his best draw, I think. Here's an attack for 2. Boswell's going to go down to 9. Pass.
Oh, wow. And Steven has a Spell Pierce and
Yeah,
a Force of Will.
Will.
It's unbelievable how many permission spells he draws.
Goodness. Boswell actually... He actually drew the show and tell to go along with the Emrakul, but he doesn't have a way to force through.
Yeah, man only has 2 cards in his hand. He's only going to be able to cast one of those permission spells. But that's all he really needs right now.
Yeah.
If you're Boswell, I mean...
How much longer can you wait, right? He goes to 7. Swan Token puts him to 5. Deathfire puts you to 3. I think you can wait one more turn. I don't like waiting one more turn. I think you can. Okay, he's going to cast Show and Tell. And Spell Pierce. I'll take care of that. Pass the turn back. Down to 7 goes Boswell.
All right, so Steven draws a blue card here. It's probably game over. And he does.
Yep.
It's a brainstorm.
5. That was big. Boswell's going to untap now. Time to draw.
Another show and tell.
Oh my goodness.
And he does have another Force of Will.
This would have been the sickest game to lose if you're Steven, man. Oh my God. Pass the turn back, down to 3. There goes the Force of Will. Yeah, Sheets is going to put him down to 1, and then, yeah, that's going to do it. And Boswell knows it. That would have been the sickest game to lose. That game was insane.
I think if Boswell brainstorms, he gets that show and tell a turn earlier, and before Mann actually draws the Spell Pierce, he would just have a Force of Will in his hand, I think. So,
yeah.
So either way, Boswell's going to be on the play in Game 3.
At least 2 go.
This is, even though Blood Moon didn't get resolved, it still forced Mann to use a lot of his counter spells. But, Mann, this is the 3rd time he's beaten Boswell, and all 3 times it revolved around him drawing an insane amount of permission spells. He drew so many Force of Wills and Spell Pierces, and basically the 3 games I've seen him beat Boswell, I think he cast Spell Pierce and Force of Will combined like 14 times.
Yeah, just some very high number. Quick updates for you guys really quickly here. Dustin Chilers does defeat Dylan Donegan 2-0. Punishing Jun does defeat Rug Delver. He will play the winner of Jesse Crowley and Spencer Agena, Rug Delver versus Deathblade. On the other side here, of course, we're watching Boswell and Mann go to Game 3. Josh Rose and Lloyd Kurth, Rug Delver versus Charles Bug, are also going to game number 3. So we are humming along here in our quarterfinal round.
Wow, so 3 matches in Game 3. We only have 1 person on to the semis. And that's the one prediction that I got right so far. Punishing Jun did defeat Rug Delver.
Yep, yeah. Pretty quickly, too, actually. We've had that result for a little bit. But that second game did not want to interrupt that because that was pretty compelling, too. Now, the first time these guys played again, I was on break. It was you and Trout in the booth. Just as close?
Yeah, it was really not really. It took a long time for Mann to finally win, but he was basically in control. There were a couple of turns where Boswell could have drawn something to kind of to win the game, but Mann, it was a kind of similar situation where Mann just had so many counterspells. It's just crazy because his deck doesn't play. I mean, it plays 4 days, 4 Force of Will, and 3 Spell Pierce after board, but he always seems to have like so many of them.
Hey man, Ponder and Brainstorm are really good.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he needs to do to win. And this game he drew all the key cards. Boswell needs to get a little lucky here. He needs Mann to only draw maybe 2 permission spells early on, and if he can just get that Blood Moon to resolve. Unfortunately, he hasn't. Blood was really good, but it doesn't seem that good. This is like the 5th game in a row, or the 4th game in a row, where the Blood Moon just wasn't able to ever enter play.
I've just never.
And it's only 3 mana.
I've never liked Blood Moon. I've never liked Blood Moon against this deck when people know you have it. That's all.
Yeah,
I've never seen it resolve. I
but-
just never see it happen.
but if it's 3 mana though, and you have Force of Will too, so I feel like he's getting a little unlucky to not be able to resolve it all these games.
Sure.
You know, it's eventually you'll get there. And you have like City of Traders, Ancient Tombs, Lotus Petal. It's clearly an insane card in your deck.
Yeah, you can guess on turn 1.
Yeah.
And then they just can't. They don't
He's
get
just,
to play.
it's just kind of awkward that he just can never get into play.
Yeah.
So now it looks like Boswell will be on the play. It looks like he's okay with his 7. It looks like Mann's the person deciding here, and he's going to mulligan. Mann kind of knows, you know, I know what I need to do to beat him. I know what kind of 7-card hand is, and I like the most Delver players who know how to play the deck. They mulligan aggressively. They know there are certain 7-card hands I just can't keep. You know, even if there's lands and spells, it's got to be the right combination of lands and spells.
So maybe an aggressive mulligan here for Stephen Mann. We'll see. Again, typically playing Rug Delver. I'm a little surprised to see him playing Bug Delver this go around, but Bug Delver, one of the top decks in Legacy. A lot of players have had a lot of success with it, many different builds of it. Oddly enough, throughout all the rounds we watched today, and in this top 8, no Blue-White Red Delver. And actually, come to think of it, this might be a True Name Nemesis free top 8?
Oh, that's right. Unless the Esper player has it.
Let me check here. Huh.
Yeah, it's
All
basically
right. Spencer has 3.
Spencer.
Spencer
Okay.
has 3.
Oh, you got everyone's hopes up.
I actually was getting really excited if there's no true names in this top 8, but we got 3.
Yeah.
3's not bad.
If there are no true names, you would have declared Legacy is fixed.
Yeah. Bring back the goblins.
All right, so Stephen Mann is going to keep his 6-card hand, and we're off. Andrew Boswell is going to lead with the Scalding Tarn. He's going to sacrifice it immediately.
See if it's going to be a basic island or volcanic island. I'd be surprised if it was the non-basic. Opening stuff with the Wasteland doesn't seem ideal unless he has a land-heavy hand, but he is going to do that. Are we going to see maybe like a turn 1? I don't know if that facilitates a turn 1 Blood Moon or not. Maybe it's just trying to get Mann to Wasteland him. I don't know. We'll see. We don't have a great look at his hand.
Well, Mann has a pretty good mulligan to 6. He's got, it looks like a double Hymn-to-Tark, Brainstorm, Daze, along with 2 lands. So definitely has some of the cards he needs to contend with Boswell's deck. Oh, wow. It looks like he's... Oh, so this is definitely a mistake from Boswell's part then, because he knows he doesn't have to play around Stifle. If your plan is to try to go turn to Blood Moon, which it looks like it is, you don't want to expose yourself to a Wasteland right here.
Yeah. Gonna pass the turn back. That was really interesting. This is gonna be an end-turn Brainstorm. Maybe he's looking for a way to protect himself. So this is a 1 and a 2 and a 3.
A 1, a 2, 3.
3. I try not to make that joke too much because I don't want to run it into the ground. But the Tootsie Pop commercial is one of my favorite commercials of all time.
I love that commercial as a kid. So if you're Boswell here, I don't know if you want to necessarily run that Blood Moon out right away. I know he has the option, but now that he has more mana and he has a Swan Song, I mean, maybe you want to play around Daze. Maybe you want to go turn 3 Blood Moon with Swan Song backup, maybe.
I generally like just putting people to the test if I have the opportunity to. He's going to try to cast it on turn 3, though. And that's cool, too. There's a Ponder.
Yeah, so Stephen Mann has Ponder, Brainstorm, Daze, double Hymn here. And we're going to see a Hymn get cast here.
I like to take the Todd Anderson route, mostly, which is just jam it, make him have it.
Well, Boswell will be ecstatic if Stephen just taps out to cast
him. Yeah.
Because that'll probably get met by Swan Song, and then he will definitely cast Blood Moon on turn 3.
I think he has a Spell Pierce, too.
Oh, does he? Oh,
I think
wow.
so, yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Doesn't he have to give him a bird?
But I don't know. The Mann's been so conservative this entire match. I wonder if he's really going to go this route. Maybe he feels like because he mulliganed, he needs to be a little bit more aggressive.
You are definitely right about the fact he's been super conservative. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe he just passes the turn. No. But, okay, here's the Hymn.
He's going to lead with Hymn here. Does Boswell have a Spell Pierce? We know he's got a Swan Song. It looks like he does have a Spell Pierce. So pretty ideal scenario for Boswell. This might be the one time we actually see Blood Moon resolve.
But you were so unhappy about it not happening.
I wanted to see it for once. So let's see if Boswell's going to go for it or not.
There's Crystal Brand. You see the Blood Moon. City of Traders lost in play around Days. He also has Swan Song. I think all systems are go.
Yeah, he's going to go for a basic island right here.
Yeah.
And me and Shrout were talking about this because he knows Mann's deck list. He knows that Mann has basically no outs.
He's
to
on an
Blood
over.
Moon.
It's over.
So he could basically just wait until he gets to 15 lands and play Emrakul. Like, he doesn't have to do anything else.
Yeah. Literally lights out.
So
There's City.
Yeah, with Swan Song, you have to imagine he's going to go for it here.
This is a Blood Moon. You can see Mann's hand right now. There's a Brainstorm, there's another Hymn, there's a Verdant Catacombs, there's a Daze. There's obviously an untapped land there for Boswell. There's nothing Mann can do about this.
Yeah, you think he might try to Daze it here. At least put Boswell to the test.
It would be impressive if Andrew failed this test. all things being honest.
I didn't say it was a hard test.
Okay, fair enough.
It's still a test.
It is still a test. It is still a test. Maybe you Daze with confidence.
Daze. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Counter it.
If I was Mann, I would read the island and just, all right, so nope,
Yep.
Mann's not even going to bother.
Yeah,
he knows
he's
the game.
beat. Once it's in play, that's it. And there's a Thoughtseize on the top of the deck. He's kind of looking at the top cards and rabbit holing, but Andrew Boswell resolves Blood Moon, and as a result is going to win and move on to our semifinals to play the winner of Josh Rhodes and Lloyd Kurth. Looking to go back to the finals is the Boz.
We're going back to the finals. So, yeah, pretty impressive win there. Obviously, Blood Moon finally proved to be as awesome